Welcome to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show, where you get advice you can trust. From home selling tips to investing, this is the talk show that will help you make the most money when selling your most valuable asset and save the most money when buying. Now here are your hosts, Dave McKay, along with Wally Kerr, broker and founder of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty in Oklahoma City.
And welcome. This is the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show. I'm Dave McKay, along with the stars of the show, Wally and Cindy
Where are they?
Kerr.
I don't see any stars around here.
It's so bright, I have to wear shade.
There you
That's
go.
right. You guys
Actually,
are
the stars are just within a day or two of Christmas. It's the star at the top of our Christmas tree. We're really in the seasonal mood. We've been doing something most every evening.
Okay.
So it's
Christmas
Bricktown.
lights, ice skating,
Nice,
parties.
Just fun little gifts around the
Yeah.
house. I've actually been doing the 12 days of Christmas inside our household.
Okay.
It traditionally starts on Christmas Day.
Okay.
And goes until like January 5th. But I reversed it. We started the 12 days of Christmas in our household on December 14th. And I've been having a lot of fun with Cindy and my son. Had some fun little gag gifts, but also some real nice little gifts in there too.
Well, today's show is sponsored by Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage and also by Best Protect Roofing and Construction. By the way, if you can't catch the show live, of course, we are here doing the show live on Saturdays at 11 a.m. You can catch us at noon on Sundays. That's the replay. And if you just can't catch that as well, you can go to wallytalkshouses.com where all of the shows, golly, the past 46, 47 shows I think we've done are all segmented out. You can check the topics, see exactly which topics you want to go to and listen to those, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, if you get a chance, we're going to do a best of show next weekend, Dave. We're going to be with family, and so it will be segments of our best shows and the segments that our listeners said that they liked the best. And then as we move into 2024, we're going to open up our listener line again for questions. You can call 1-844-211-3817, and you'll be greeted by my voice welcoming you to just record a question that we'll answer on the air. So when you go in, you'll enter extension 1234, but just remember the number, 1-844-211-3817, and we'll get back into answering listener questions in 2024.
That's any time, of course. You did mention best of is next week. So this week, what are the topics for today's show?
Well, we're going to talk about the definition of a good toilet today, Dave. So maybe that will catch a few of our listeners' ears so that you stay tuned
And
with
a
us
true
today.
story as well.
Okay.
A true story, and it's our funny story of the day. Dave, when we get into House Talk today, Cindy and I are going to talk about this subject of will Wall Street investors get kicked out of our housing market? Got some good information for our listeners today. Wally's Weekly Wisdom today, we're going to talk about can you see the trees? So stick around for that. Also, where are the 10 hottest real estate markets predicted to be in 2024?
Okay.
And I think we'll have a lot of fun there. And finally, today we'll talk about buying a duplex, triplex, or fourplex multifamily property with only 5% down.
That's a change.
And there's a new program that Fannie Mae has made available. So we'll talk about that today. It'll be a fun, fast-moving show today. Happy to be here with you.
Our funny story of the week is next after this quick break. Stick around.
Looking for a cash offer for your home? If so, do you want to see just one offer, or would you prefer to receive multiple cash offers? And you get to choose the one you want. IWantMultipleOffers.com is the place to go. And that's exactly what you'll get fast. You choose the closing date, no open houses, no strangers in your home, and no waiting to receive an offer. You can sell as is. Today we know that homeowners like you want options. Our cash offer program, where you receive multiple offers, not just one, allows you to do what you want to do. If the cash offers aren't quite as high as you want, you still have the option of placing your home for sale for only as long as you want. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, you choose. And if it's not sold in that agreed period, you can take any one of the cash offers, including one from us. Visit IWantMultipleOffers.com. Get the options you want, or just give us a call today. Wally and Cindy Kerr at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at 330-3000.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, Wally, it's time for our funny story of the week. What do you have for us today?
Dave, this is a story, as we alluded in the intro, about good toilets.
Okay.
So you ready for the story?
Are there bad toilets out there? Am I missing something?
According to these home buyers, there were, and I wasn't aware of that. So this is 15 years ago, and I'm showing homes to Tim and Kathy. And so I go in, and we're looking at multiple homes. I'm standing across the house, and she walks out of a bathroom, and she said, "Tim, this one has good toilets." And I thought, man, I'm going to totally avoid that just altogether. I'm not going down that road. So then we go in, and maybe it wasn't the next house, but maybe it was the third house. And then here he comes. He said, "Hey, baby, this one's got good toilets too." And I'd already developed a good rapport with these people and a really nice early friendship. And I said, I didn't realize that there were good toilets and not good toilets. I mean, I'm a realtor. I probably should know this.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, Wally," he said, "hey, we're bigger people." And he said, "You probably have noticed that some toilets kind of have a round seat, but some of them have that more elongated seat." And he said, "We can get our butts on those elongated seats." And he said, "That's what a good toilet is."
Yes, that's,
So needless to say, I joined the fun. And the very next home that we went into, I made sure that I went straight to the bathroom and I said, "Hey guys, this one's got good toilets." So we had a blast and looked for homes, I don't know, for a couple of weeks, and they found the perfect home. And since then they've sold. But it was a lot of fun working with Tim and Kathy.
That's a hilarious story. Obviously one that I think most customers wouldn't talk about openly, but you had a great rapport with them. That's awesome, and it's fun working with people like that. Speaking of toilets, the market certainly isn't in one right now as we head towards Christmas. There's been a lot of good news over the last week to 10 days, hasn't there?
There has been, Dave. Matter of fact, to mention right off the start here, I looked back just to see what happened to home sales as interest rates pulled back here over the last 3 to 4 to 5 weeks. It's really interesting. Buyers are very conscious about what interest rates are doing, and here's the proof.
Now, is this in our market?
This is in our local market. This is from the Oklahoma City MLS, so courtesy of Oakmar and the Oklahoma City Multilist. Rates hit up around 8% on conventional rates just about the mid part of October. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the third week of October, and during that 1 week period, there were 372 homes in the Oklahoma City MLS that went under contract. Specifically, it was October 17th to October 23rd. Mm-hmm. Now I looked at the second week of December, between December 5th and December 11th, and there were 439 homes put under contract 2 weeks before Christmas.
Wow.
That was a 15% increase in home sales when comparing the third week of October this year to the second week of December.
So those interest rates matter to those buyers.
That's how conscious buyers are today about watching interest rates and what they're doing. And they jumped in and said, "I want to buy. I'm going to take this opportunity to jump in there and get a rate that's about 0.5% lower." So this has been good for the marketplace, and there's a lot of things that have been good. Dave, as of Monday of this week, the Dow Jones Industrial Index was at a record high. And the S&P on Monday was approaching a record high.
Wow. Okay.
So what has led to this are investors being happy. They're rallying Wall Street. The last record highs were in January of 2022. So we're coming right up on 2 years of that. So what's happened? The Federal Reserve signaled that its interest rate hiking policy is at an end, and it sees lower borrowing costs in 2024. The investors have cheered this. This has driven the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P up. So there's always a 180 look. There's a risk that always comes along with something like this, right? What's the risk? Well, if the Fed at this point cuts rates too quickly, it could bolster the economy. so much that inflation flares up again.
Boy, it is a balance, isn't it?
It's such a fragile balance in the marketplace. So when you reduce the loan rate for credit and for car loans and overall interest rates, even like credit cards,
Yes.
it could force the central bank to reverse its course. Right now they're saying, we believe we're headed toward cutting our rate in the year 2024. Maybe as many as 3 rate cuts this next year.
Good news. People are going to start spending more money.
And then it's going
That's the inflation starts to rear its ugly head. And
Yes,
then we
that's
now
why
have
it's
to
so-
start raising those rates a little bit because we need to calm things
Got to
down.
curb that inflation.
Yes.
So with 3 rate cuts, it's anticipated, and we talked a little on the show last week about this, perhaps getting down somewhere close to 6%, give or take a little bit. So as the Fed lowers those rates, they're going to have to watch very carefully and make sure people don't get out and start spending money too quickly. Right now, it could cause them to reverse its course and just hold its rate steady or possibly lift them again, depending on what happens. But again, the number of homes increased that went under contract. Those indexes are at record highs. It's a pretty exciting time in our economy. We've been waiting for it for a while, but
Yes.
it's looking pretty good right now.
Well, let's jump right into this week's House Talk segment with the topic you mentioned last week, and I wonder how it might tie into the discussions we've already had this morning. It seems clear that rates will drop, more buyers will re-enter the marketplace in the spring and summer. You already saw it here in December.
We did.
Some more homes under contract. So this sounds very interesting, knowing that few homeowners want to see too many rentals in their neighborhood, and this potential legislation could have an impact in our market, right? And what we're talking about is the news that we heard about investors and what's going to happen with that. Why are we talking about this?
So I'll take you back to a quick story, Dave. And in 2014 and about 3 months of 2015, Cindy and I helped a large conglomerate, a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust. In other words, they're taking investors' money, pooling it together, and buying rental properties across the metro.
Sure.
Dave, we were fortunate enough to be one of 3 real estate teams here in the metro chosen to help American Homes for Rent. They bought between 500 and 600 homes in 2014 and 15 in Canadian and Oklahoma and Cleveland County because rents were strong. They wanted newer homes. They wanted homes that would rent easily. We were able to help them buy 144 homes in the year 2014 and a total of 186 between 2014 and 15. That was a gift, wasn't it, Cindy, to have that business. So we helped them purchase those homes. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens because this legislation is intended to look at those large REITs and investors who want to buy investment homes in marketplaces that are affordable, like Oklahoma City. You know, in the COVID years, it led so many homeowners to do the old Steve Miller Band, go on, take the money and run, right? Because their home values were going up so fast. So much faster than in the past. And in 2021 and 2022, Cindy and I helped a couple of hundred homeowners sell their homes, bank that money, and then a lot of them just went and rented. And there were a couple of reasons. Number one, they sold. The inventory was very low. Houses were selling like hotcakes. And there weren't enough homes coming available to satisfy people. So they'd say, well, tell you what, I'm just going to take the money and bank it with no tax consequence for a lot of people. And then they rented and either stayed in a rental until they could find a home in a year or two later, or in a lot of cases, they built a home. Instead, Dave, they built because they couldn't find what they wanted. And so this is the same thing that happened back when these REITs were buying properties as they were loading up their inventory with investors' money that wanted a return. They allowed corporations like these REITs, like American Homes for Rent, to come in, and they bought lots of homes inside our marketplace. And there is a senator that's saying that's not the best thing for the public. And so that's what this legislation has to do with.
So with you guys, I mean, this impacts you directly because you guys have done a great job over the years of finding those homes that you can foresee gaining really good equity in and buying those homes. You have rental properties. You are the perfect example of maybe why the legislation might be introduced because they want people like you to be able to generate wealth, generational wealth at that. People like me who might want to buy a second home for our son who's going to go to college, and then we can gift him that home as opposed to a company doing it. So you guys are a great example of why I think they want individuals to be able to do this. Is that right? Am I kind of going down the right road?
You are, because it kind of gets into this thing of what we call a hedge fund. And even small individuals like me and Cindy, we can go buy hedges or kind of hedge fund and put money. So our portfolio consists of some mutual funds and stocks. It also consists of cash, but it consists of real estate. We have 10 rental properties all across the metro. They're highly diversified. It's the same thing as a REIT, taking investors' money and investing across the United States and saying, you've invested with us, you're safe, we're in all these different marketplaces, and you're invested in real estate. That's what Cindy and I have done in creating our own hedge. A hedge, basically, Dave, is just protection against a bad market. So
Volatility.
It is, against volatility. So this Democratic bill, to stay on topic, reveals a broad definition of what they think hedge funds are. And they say it encompasses real estate investment trusts and corporation. And this bill suggests that they would not only force out the giant single-family rental operators, but also halt many future built-to-rent projects, as the buyer is often a large institutional investor. And they're looking at home affordability being challenged because of these REITs coming into our marketplace.
So we all know that over time, then real estate is good. It's a good value. It's good to invest in, long-term investment. And that's what we're really talking about, right?
Look at all of the increased value in home sales since 2020. We've seen increased real estate values in a range between 25 and 40%. Investors know that real estate is a good place to park money, and there are REITs of all types, and real estate REITs are really common.
And ironically, Dave, these REITs, including American Homes for Rent, they sold most of their homes before the COVID years, so they were supposed to get this great return for their investors, and they ended up unloading most all of their properties here in the metro just prior to COVID. In this case, the REIT didn't make as much money, and if they would have held on to those rental properties into 2020 and 21 and 22, they would have made a ton of money. But they got out of the market.
But, you know, that's all timing, and who can predict the future? Who
Right.
has a crystal ball?
Who would have thought COVID was going to come along, right?
Exactly. And Wally and I have invested in some properties that we've bought through our guaranteed sale program and then resold. And some of them we've done fine on. Some the market wasn't as favorable. You know, nobody has a crystal ball.
So let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this bill. How does it look? What is the proposal?
So it's been introduced into both chambers of Congress and aims not only to ban hedge funds from amassing large portfolios of single-family homes, but also to force them to sell them off. So the bill would require hedge funds to sell at least 10% of the total number of single-family homes they currently own to families per year over a 10-year period. And after a 10-year full phase-out, all hedge funds will be completely banned from owning any single-family homes. So this would be, you got 100% of your homes, you've got to sell at least 10% of those each year for 10 years, and then they would be out. Dave, this bill was written by Jeff Merkley. He is an Oregon Democratic senator and continues to say that housing in our neighborhoods should be for homes for people, not profit centers for Wall Street. Yet, in every corner of the country, giant financial corporations are buying up housing and driving up both rents and home prices. He says it's time for Congress to put in place common sense guardrails that ensure all families have a fair chance to buy or rent a decent home in their community at a price that they can afford.
It kind of strikes me, and I just had this thought, even 10% is a massive amount. And with a lot of individuals buying this up, that's money that people are spending. What could that do to inflation? And all of these hedge funds they're basically banks and corporations. They're going to have to make their money up somewhere. So could we also see interest rate hikes and other things going up in price because they were forced on this side over here to do one thing, and over here, something that's been quiet starts brewing because they got to make their money
It's
somehow.
so interconnected.
So, yeah, I kind of see it like I understand the humanistic part of it. We want just single
But what are
Americans
the
to do that. That's great. But then I'm thinking, Now I'm starting to think like Wally. I'm starting to think, what are the feds going to do?
Yes.
And what are banks going to do down the road?
And they are saying that the housing market alone, as interest rates begin to come down slowly, but as they come down, already we saw an increase in home sales from the third week of October into the second week of December. Home sales go up 15%. It is one of the things the Fed is concerned about, is that the housing market alone could drive inflation numbers right back up again.
Now, this legislation, though, is just being introduced.
Just being discussed.
And I think that's
and it
really
may not
important.
pass, but I think it's really interesting, and I think it might have some really good merits.
So, and I do see it as an attempt towards restoring home affordability, because now you just have individuals that are selling to individuals, and everyone comes out a winner, and they're able to work together, not just a company, and they got to speak to shareholders and everything. So in an economy where home buyers, and especially first-time home buyers, are struggling to buy their first home, I would think that this is a good thing to restore that home affordability.
Well, it would certainly allow those first-time buyers and those buyers of those more affordable homes not to have to compete with a big corporation, a big entity. So, I think that is the positive of it. As we said, it hasn't passed yet, so who knows if it will. But it's certainly kind of the pulse of what's going on, and that's interesting.
And like you mentioned, Cindy, earlier, I realize this is a bill for discussion at this point, right, Wally? It's
right.
They're just kind of discussing if it's going to go into legislation. It does make sense, especially with the buying power that Wall Street giants possess. Let's give back to the community. Let's give back to the people. So I get that.
It may float before it even begins to sink, but I think it's something worth watching.
We'll take a quick break and be right back with Wally's Weekly Wisdom in 2 minutes.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
The holidays are here. Does that mean no one's buying a home today? Not at all. In fact, many home buyers are checking websites daily, hoping that just the right home comes up for sale. And with interest rates at a higher level, fewer home sellers are willing to sell. If you're one of those homeowners that needs to sell now, it gives you a distinct advantage. We have hundreds of buyers searching our website each week, waiting for the perfect home to come available. And remember that someone who will buy and love your home will always pay more than an investor will. I'm Wally Kerr. Cindy and I are local experts in all areas of the Oklahoma City metro and offer to sell your home guaranteed at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. Again, last year, our homes sold faster and for more money on average. But don't take my word for it. Check out what other people say about us at Google and Zillow. If you're ready to sell in the next 30 to 60 days, call us at 330-3000 before you list it to access our pool of ready buyers. Your home sold guaranteed realty. And ask for me when you call.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
We're back, and thanks for staying with us today on the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show. Now, Wally, we added the segment called Wally's Weekly Wisdom, I think back in April.
I think that's right.
And as a 36-year real estate broker in Oklahoma, you've shared a lot with us since then. Some great stories, some great content for people to learn from. What do you have for us today?
So, Dave, this one's different today. Have you ever thought about how much trees add to the value of a home?
Well, I guess I really haven't. Is there like research that supports how many trees add?
How much money is it directly correlated?
I'm going to head out to the local tree farm and start planting maybe. But yeah, no, I've never really thought about that.
So, Dave, several recent nationwide surveys show that mature trees in a well-landscaped yard can actually increase the value of a house by 7 to 19%.
I'm in
value.
trouble. I'm in trouble, by the way. I have to tell you another story. Mother-in-law, as a gift, I come home, there's a tree in the backyard.
Did you pull a George Washington?
No, but I like trees, but I'm really not a big tree person. One is I love a nice manicured lawn.
You want to mow that yard fast, don't you,
mow that
Dave?
yard. I don't want brown spots or dirt underneath it because it got too much shade.
Yes.
And they are all over me going, no, you need to do this. You need to do this. And now I'm going to have to go apologize finally that I was wrong. I always thought I was right. But yes,
You should
so
have-
they were
should have
right.
checked
My
with me
mother-in-law
first there, Dave.
Nurtured
and Kim
that.
told me yes. So
In our previous home, it really had pretty windows on the back and they faced west. And we never thought about this. The patio, the beautiful windows. We moved in and it was awful.
We even poured a bigger patio because our friend John said,
Yeah.
instead of having this beautiful private acreage in this rectangular patio, why don't
Make
you
a big
kind of make a big
swooping
swoop in it
patio.
like a letter S? And so we did that.
And then it was so hot out there. So we planted a lace bark elm, which is a fast growing shade tree. And it just took off. And I'll tell you what, the canopy was beautiful. And we often talked about how much money it would take for us to let go of that tree, shall I say. To us, it was worth thousands and thousands of dollars. And I have to tell this funny story. Wally saved the tree. So back when we had an ice storm, Wally actually got a chimenea and kept wood in that chimenea and kept that burning all night so that tree did not freeze.
That was a cold experience because I would take that super hot chimenea. That chimenea was probably 4 feet tall.
Right.
I had to wear gloves because it was so hot. And I would drag that around underneath the tree. Of course, the moment that heat hit the branches, it would just rain water on my head.
Yes.
So it was super cold. I think it was still raining ice, but we didn't want to lose that tree.
It was everything for our patio. That tree made our patio.
I remember telling Cindy, I think sitting out there one day when it was so hot, we were underneath. Now, that lace bark is a multi-trunk tree. So it runs off multiple directions, so it covered and shaded that patio.
Yes.
I think I remember telling her that I wouldn't take $30,000 for that
I know.
tree.
Is that just crazy?
Seriously, because it was so nice. So, in another survey, Dave, yard trees were believed to add 10 to 20% to the value of a home. Remember for a minute, too, that trees absorb odors and pollutant gases like nitrogen oxides and ammonia, and I researched this so that I would say it right, sulfur dioxide, but more importantly, ozone. And they filter out particulate out of the air by trapping them on the leaves and bark.
this week's wisdom tells me that there's a partridge in a pear tree. Not only a good thing, but it's also indicative of making a wise investment.
Yeah, I agree. Plant that tree, wait for that partridge to come around, and increase the value of your home. And there are faster growing trees.
Yes.
There are some that are great for Oklahoma and some that aren't. Check with your landscape nursery about the ones that will maybe grow faster, the ones that are good for Oklahoma,
You know, that's right, because some don't fare well in our Oklahoma winds.
and the drought.
Yes.
So, those Bradford pears sure do blow over badly whenever there's,
Yes.
straight winds. But there are also some that are a little more drought tolerant. Get some trees planted in your yard. They're a good investment. They can add to your value. Something we recommend you do.
We do have in our current home a tree in the backyard. And the funny thing is I'm the one that got it and planted it. So obviously, I think I've seen the error of my ways. I've been very fortunate to help out and do some work with the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon and the Memorial Foundation itself. And I was gifted part of the survivor tree.
Oh, wow.
Which I have.
That's
it was
touching.
a sapling from it. So I have that planted in the backyard, which is a really cool talking point when we have people over and say, that's part of the survivor tree right there in our backyard.
Unbelievable. Wonderful.
Well, let's move into this topic that you mentioned at the top of the show. It sounds very interesting. The forecast for the 10 hottest real estate markets across the country for 2024. I'm curious to see this list because I got a pretty good idea where several of these are.
You know, Dave, this is research from realtor.com. And it's obviously from a very credible source, so they are constantly tracking home sales and data. So tell us, Dave, if you had to pick a state where more of the hot markets would be in 2024, Where would that be?
I mean, this is a pretty easy question for me because I'm going to say California.
I think I would too.
And you're both from California.
Yes.
And you're both right. With 5 of the hottest markets, again, this is from realtor.com, this is from their economists and research, but 5 of the hottest markets for 2024 are in California. So let's take a quick look at those 5 and the other 5, and I think you'll be as surprised as we were to hear where they are. And perhaps both you and Cindy, knowing California as much as you do,
Yes.
you were born there, can add some color into why you think these 5 California cities are expected to boom in values next year.
Okay, this'll be fun.
So let's start with number 1, and this one's a surprise. Might be because that's where Corporal Klinger was from in MASH.
Yes.
How about Toledo, Ohio?
Yes.
Would you
Oh.
believe that is
He's
one of the
always
10
talking about
hottest?
Toledo.
Wow, really?
And it's based on affordability.
Okay.
Do you know, Dave, that the November median home listed price in Toledo, Ohio for November was $200,000.
Wow.
It's a very,
Wow,
very
yes.
affordable market to go to,
Yes.
sort of where some of those REITs and investment trusts would go by because of
yes.
home affordability. How about number 2 on the list? Now, I'll have you and Cindy, before I tell you what I read about Oxnard, California, I'd like to know both of your comments about why you think people would like Oxnard and why that would be one of the 10 hottest markets as predicted by Realtor.com for 2024.
Well, I lived in Camarillo. It's just right next door to Oxnard, and it is gorgeous. The weather is perfect.
Yes.
I remember in a college class once, a professor saying the best weather patterns in the world are the French Riviera, the Italian Riviera, Oxnard, and Camarillo, California.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
This research says it was the picturesque beaches.
Yes.
Would you agree with that
Yes.
also? Is that
Absolutely.
beautiful?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm not a California native. Cindy lived there when I met her in Mexico, in Cancun in 1993, but I did make several visits, but she never took me to Oxnard. Okay, number 3 on the list. You ready for this? How about Rochester, New York?
Wow, that's surprising.
Because of its affordability. Get this, a 3-bed, 2-bath colonial home on just over an acre was recently for sale for under $250,000.
Wow.
I see that as an area where the East Coast, again, a lot of trees, that beautiful tree-lined streets, and the homes have a little bit more of that kind of feel. That's the house my grandparents grew up in. They're a little bit
Yes.
older homes, that older style. I can see that as kind
Colonial,
of a
for
quaint
sure.
place to live. I can see that.
Boy, the weather, though, would just be tough,
Well, yes.
wouldn't it?
Lots of snow, but you
Ooh,
know
the
what?
snow.
I've lived in Oklahoma all of my life, and you were in California. I think I could go endure a couple of winters up there in the north and northeast just to see some of that snow. Number 4 on the list. This one's easy. How about San Diego?
Oh,
yes.
So warm weather, beautiful beaches, even mentioned in the research the San Diego Zoo.
Yep.
So it's such an
Been
Been there,
Have you
been
been?
there.
It's
That is
wonderful.
Cindy needs to take me there. The November median price in San Diego, $995,000. So for those of you that were ready to bail into your car and go buy a home in San Diego, you might need to let your Oklahoma home appreciate a little more
little
before
bit
you
more.
do that.
Yes.
Number 5, also in California, how about Riverside? Cindy, you lived in California all of your life until you met me. What's nice about Riverside?
Well, it is more affordable, and there's actually more acreage properties there. It's not acreage like in Oklahoma, green and treed, but if you want a horse property, there are equestrian communities and larger lots. They do tend to get, because of the inversion layer, some smog there.
And what about earthquakes in Riverside?
Well, that's all over Southern California. That's,
Now, Riverside's from San Diego. How far away would that be?
ooh, that'd be tough for me to tell you exactly.
Okay, so the average November median price in San Diego was $995,000, but here in Riverside only $585,000, so about 40% less in price. The next city, also in California, Bakersfield. Bakersfield.
Oh, yes.
So
Driven through it many times.
how about this? November median price there, $385,000
Yeah.
to live in California. Cindy, what did you like the most about Bakersfield?
Well, it's farming, but it is in the middle of the state, so you can go up to San Francisco on the weekend, or you can
The
go down to
location
LA.
of it, yes, it's
got a great location.
You have the best of everything, because I think it's, if you want a lot of land, you
Yes.
could really get a lot of land for your money there. being in California, but you're right. You can go hit the Bay Area just as much as go down and hit L.A. and Anaheim.
And you can also get up to Tahoe and ski, and
that's
that's
true,
pretty
yes.
close too.
Yes.
So that is a great location.
How about this, guys? Just recently available on the market in Bakersfield. A 4-bed, 4-bath home with a swimming pool and a covered patio for $399,000.
Wow, that's like Oklahoma prices.
Pretty
or
affordable.
less.
Now we're going to head number 7 on the list, and I'm not sure these are in a particular order. It's just that these are supposed to be the 10 hottest cities for home sales and appreciation in 2024. Let's go way up northeast to Springfield, Massachusetts.
Okay.
How about this one? About 90 minutes west of Boston, home prices are less than half of Boston's metro median. Boston was something like $763,000 on the median listed price in November of this year, where Springfield, Massachusetts, again, just 90 minutes west, $350,000.
I think that has that. When I have always heard about Springfield and seen pictures, I kind of picture Norman Rockwell-esque neighborhoods and homes. And again, tons of greenery and
So
the trees
beautiful there.
and beautiful, some rolling hills as well, I think.
Wally and I did some traveling up in that area, and we actually ended up staying at a bed and breakfast that was Norman Rockwell's art studio.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
That is such a charming
It was
area.
gorgeous. Now, the next community is also in Massachusetts and not far at all from Springfield. It's, I believe you pronounce it Worcester, and it's a cheaper.
Or do they say Worcester?
They may say Worcester.
They may
I
say
think you're
that.
right. You can tell how much English I'm not. So, so it's a cheaper
Well-
alternative to Boston, with median home list prices up 42% in just the last 4 years. The average median price in Worcester would be $475,000 last month. And again, Boston, just 47 miles away to the west. Boston's average sales price, $763,000. I bet a lot of people would make the commute for that
Absolutely.
price.
Yes.
Let's go forward to one that you both can tell me a lot about. How about Los Angeles? So Los
Yes.
Angeles took a recent beating. It went up so fast during the COVID years. It really pulled back some recently, but the market is rebounding. It's got a median sales price right now of right at $1 million. And are you ready for this? That equates to, on average, $618 per square foot when you buy a home.
Oh, I'm buying
in
one of
Los
those tiny homes out there then. I want a 20 square foot home.
A little trailer.
Unfortunately, Oklahoma City, you guys did not make the top
noticed
10
that.
list. The one we haven't talked about is the 10th one, and that's Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, yeah. I'll give this one to you, Wally.
It's just east of Lake Michigan.
Okay.
So it's just off the eastern shore.
Yep.
I thought this was interesting. It's very close to Battle Creek, Michigan, and it's very close to Kalamazoo. A median price of just $284,000. So close enough to enjoy that beautiful lake and the lakes up north. If you have a chance and you know anything about the snowfall in Grand Rapids, do us a favor and call our listener line and just leave us a message and tell us about it. It's 1-844-211-3817. You'll get a greeting from me and it will tell you what to do. You can just record your message. You don't have to be live on the show. We would love to hear your input about how much snow you could get in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes and talk about buying multifamily property homes with just 5% down. I'm interested to hear this next.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758, Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for a cash offer for your home? If so, do you want to see just one offer, or would you prefer to receive multiple cash offers and you get to choose the one you want? IWantMultipleOffers.com is the place to go, and that's exactly what you'll get fast. You choose the closing date, no open houses, no strangers in your home, and no waiting to receive an offer. You can sell as is. Today we know that homeowners like you want options. Our cash offer program, where you receive multiple offers, not just one, allows you to do what you want to do. If the cash offers aren't quite as high as you want, you still have the option of placing your home for sale for only as long as you want. 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, you choose. And if it's not sold in that agreed period, you can take any one of the cash offers, including one from us. Visit IWantMultipleOffers.com. Get the options you want, or just give us a call today. Wally and Cindy Kerr at your home sold guaranteed realty at 330-3000.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, Wally and Cindy, it sounds like there's some more good news for those wanting to build a personal portfolio of investment properties. You mentioned on the break that there have been some changes in available financing that will really help individuals who would like to buy these multifamily properties. Now, I know what a duplex is. I think I know what a triplex is. And you said even a fourplex. That's interesting. Tell me more about this.
Well, you know, Fannie Mae is a government-sponsored enterprise, and it focused on improving home affordability, and it has slashed down payment requirements for owner-occupied multifamily 2 to 4 units. So a fourplex is 4 units, and those down payments used to range between 15 and 25%, and now they've slashed the requirement to 5%, which is really cool. You can buy a duplex, triplex, or a fourplex with just 5% down. You can live in one side, and you can earn passive income from collecting rent on the other side. And you can even then use that rent money to pay your mortgage off. So it's a really cool deal. And you can also pay taxes, insurance, and maintenance.
This sounds like good news. For my son, Tim, who is going to be graduating college, I think wants to go to some graduate school down in Norman as well. This sounds like this would be a great opportunity for someone like him when he graduates.
Yeah, it's not the only affordable loan program for multifamily property purchases, Dave. The FHA's had this option for many years, and it offers mortgages with a minimum down payment of only 3.5%, but there are some restrictions. Unlike Fannie Mae, there's a mandatory self-sufficiency test for those that are buying 3 and 4 unit homes, so that would be a triplex or a fourplex. There's a stipulation that the rental income has to cover the entire mortgage payment along with the taxes and insurance so that someone doesn't get themselves in trouble.
Oh, I can see that doing it. So that obviously makes sense. So Fannie Mae now offers this financing without that stipulation and with just a 5% required down payment. So that's going to benefit a lot of people.
It will, Dave, and here's several advantages to buying an owner-occupied multifamily property. Maybe you buy a duplex and you live on one side and you rent the other. So you're going to find it'll be much quicker to save a 5% down payment compared to needing 15 to 25% down, like Cindy mentioned a minute ago. It allows you to buy sooner and start generating passive income by collecting rent and building home equity. So again, like for your son, Tim, who's going to come out of school and wants to buy a property, why not look for a duplex? Maybe he lives in one side, rents the other. Then one day he'll probably run off and get married. Keep that as a rental with 2 units. We have, in our current portfolio, Cindy and I have 2 duplexes among the 10 rental units that we own. So 2 duplexes and then 6 rental properties, right, Cindy?
That's right. And, you know, one we bought from some folks. We own a duplex in Oklahoma City, and they did this very thing. They built a duplex, they rented out the other side, and then they lived on one side for several years. And at one point, they decided they wanted to work for their church and travel the world and help their church. So they called us about our guaranteed sale program, and we ended up buying the duplex. But it's really interesting because the original tenant, who was on the other side, is still our tenant now.
Oh, okay.
And the side that they had built for themselves, they really decked out.
Oh,
just beautiful cabinetry and really specialized some of the trim. So they did one side kind of an average build, and the side they were on really, really nice. So this can be a great opportunity for a young person, or you don't have to be young, for anybody any age who want to invest. You know, again, you could live in one unit, maybe for nothing, or just a profit and rent to cover your other expenses on the backside.
You know, one thing that's important is you do have to be careful buying a multifamily residential property. If you have the intention of relying on rental income to cover your mortgage, you do need to have a nest egg, because I can tell you from owning investment property, there will be times you will have vacancy. There will be times that you have unexpected maintenance, whether it's a sewer line, a hot water tank, heat and air issues. So it's really important to have a reserve of funds. There's always a risk you won't be able to find renters for your spare units. However, on the 10 investment properties that we own, we've been able to keep them rented and had no problem finding renters. We do recommend, though, we use a property manager. That is a specialist who screens our tenants, who they actually take care of collecting rents, calling out service people. That's been really great for us because it allows us to focus on our real estate business.
Yeah, you want to be really careful and not get yourself in trouble with your lender by not having adequate cash reserves to cover your mortgage and also those other expenses that Cindy's talking about. It's that same old deal of expect the worst.
Yes.
And be happy with the best.
We've talked about this several times, and I think most recently a couple of weeks ago on one of our shows. Establish a slush fund.
Right.
For the unexpected. That's really important, isn't it?
Absolutely. So costs are up for most everything. Gosh, a hot water heater's a couple of grand to replace now. Heat and air repairs and replacements are really costly. And even the cost of replacing roof shingles is really a big expense. And by the way, if you need a free roof inspection here in the Metro, we haven't mentioned this in a couple of weeks. Maybe you think a few shingles have blown off. Maybe in that last rainstorm you noticed some water spots on the ceilings inside your home. There's a service offered by a contractor we trust very, very much, Best Protect Roofing and Construction, and they're one of the sponsors of the show. But they don't sponsor us. It's not why we endorse them. We endorse them because they are a great, great service.
Alan Cook.
Alan Cook is an absolute pro, has done 10,000 square foot homes for me. I mentioned this months ago. The owners actually made him a steak dinner and invited him over because he did such an awesome job on their 10,000 square foot home. And this man was not necessarily really easy to deal with. So I would say call Alan Cook most any time on his cell phone.
But Alan is easy to deal with.
Alan is easy to deal with. Call him at 405-473-9599. Here in the Metro, they'll do a free roof inspection. And again, we endorse him because he's done not only a great job for our customers, but also for you and me personally, Cindy.
And you know, one thing I really like about him is if you're going to have an insurance claim, he'll meet with the insurance adjuster. He'll help get that approved through your insurance. He does a great service.
If the damage is there, everybody has that vision of the adjuster walking up with their portfolio closed and saying, sorry, there's no claim here.
Yes.
Alan does a wonderful job of climbing up on the roof, taking pictures, marking with chalk what's been hit, where the hail hits are, damage to the roof. It's a great service. And again, that roofing inspection is free. That number again is 405-473-9599. His name is Alan Cook. He does a great job for us, and I'm sure he will for you too.
All right, stick around. We'll be back to put a big, shiny Christmas bow on this show as we wrap things up next.
The holidays are here. Does that mean no one's buying a home today? Not at all. In fact, many home buyers are checking websites daily, hoping that just the right home comes up for sale. And with interest rates at a higher level, fewer home sellers are willing to sell. If you're one of those homeowners that needs to sell now, it gives you a distinct advantage. We have hundreds of buyers searching our website each week, waiting for the perfect home to come available. And remember that someone who will buy and love your home will always pay more than an investor will. I'm Wally Kerr. Cindy and I are local experts in all areas of the Oklahoma City Metro and offer to sell your home guaranteed at a price agreeable to you, or we'll buy it ourselves. Again, last year, our homes sold faster and for more money on average. But don't take my word for it. Check out what other people say about us at Google and Zillow. If you're ready to sell in the next 30 to 60 days, call us at 330-3000 before you list it to access our pool of ready buyers. Your home sold guaranteed realty. And ask for me when you call.
Best Protect Roofing and Construction has been serving the Oklahoma community since 2017 with trusted professionals and a proven track record. Best Protect Protect Roofing and Construction has the local knowledge to ensure every roofing project is compliant and hassle-free. They offer free roof inspections to assess damage, provide accurate quotes, and recommend the best solution for your home. Call today, 405-473-9599. Best Protect Roofing and Construction.
Finding the right mortgage can be stressful, from knowing which program fits your situation the best to identifying the best terms. Hi, I'm Chris Doak with Gateway Mortgage. I work closely with you every step of the way, from pre-qualification to helping you choose the home loan that's right for you. My promise is to provide transparency, timely communication, personal service, and closings on time. Call me today at 405-253-2276. That's 405-253-2276.
NMLS 984758. Gateway Mortgage, a division of Gateway First Bank. NMLS 7233, Equal Housing Lender.
If you or a family member will be selling or buying a home and would like to schedule an appointment with Wally, call 405-330-3000 or go to wallysguarantee.com. Now back to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr.
Well, we just got a couple of minutes left in Wally and Cindy. Let's just chat a little bit about what does Christmas look like for you and your family over the next couple of days?
So our show is here on the 23rd. This is my mother's 91st birthday today, Dave.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Her name is Mary. She listens to our show.
She's the sweetest person in the world.
It's 2 days before Christmas. Happy birthday to Mom. And then some of you will hear our show repeat on Christmas Eve, we hope at noon. Dave, just kind of quiet. Our kids, our two sons and our granddaughters and my sister Kim live here locally. My family is now Cindy's family because she lost her mother and father earlier in life. Mm-hmm. It's going to be just a matter of going to several different households, exchanging gifts. Cindy and I, we mentioned this before. I feel very emotional about Christmas, and so we always go to Bricktown on Christmas Eve. So you don't know what we look like unless you've gone online, but if you see somebody walking around, you'd notice Cindy before you'd notice me. She looks a lot better than I do. If you see somebody inside Bricktown on Christmas Eve,
we like to walk the canal and to see all the lights. It's so beautiful. Christmas is Wally's favorite holiday. He just gets teary-eyed about Christmas.
I do. What about you, Dave?
So we have Mom coming to town.
Great.
So she's going to be here, and she just wants to go see some movies during the week and just kind of hang out. Might take in a Thunder game. Overall, I think we're going to go through some of the holiday light displays, maybe out in Yukon, maybe the safari lights at the zoo. I have yet to go see the leg lamp down in Chickasha. We might try to go do that. Other than that, we have plans to go buy a bunch of Rudy's barbecue.
Ooh,
and for Christmas Eve, we're going to have a bunch of barbecue.
That's what we do a lot. Wally loves barbecue. We had our company
barbecue
Christmas
7 days a
party,
week.
And Rudy's barbecue catered that.
More than anything, we just want to wish our listeners very, very happy holidays. We hope you enjoy our shows and that you've joined. Again, you can check all of our topics at wallytalkshouses.com. You can download shows to listen to, or you can just pick the topics that are most interesting to you in the lineup and listen to just those segments of the show. It's really been a pleasure here in 2023 to start our show. It's something Cindy encouraged me to do. And then once you and I got in here a few weeks, Dave, we realized we needed a little more color to our show. So we brought in Cindy, not only color, but good looks. And she's added significantly to our show.
Which doesn't work on radio, but.
So anyway, just want to say thank you to our listeners for tuning in each week. And know that we are in real estate, incredibly active, always working. Give us a call at 330-3000 if you'll be selling or buying sometime soon or in the next year. If you'd like to arrange just a quick consultation up front to look at your home, determine the value so that you can plan on your equity, be able to tell you three things pretty quick after we meet, and that's how much your home should sell for, how long it should take to sell, and then how much you'd walk away with when all is said and done. If it's you or a family member or a friend, we'd consider it a privilege to be able to serve you this next year, and just hope you have the best holidays.
I'd like you to mention our charity, too.
So we give generously to Children's Hospital Foundation for the kids who have things going on in their lives that are out of control. Dave, it's leukemia, it is cancers, it's Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you want to refer someone to us as you listen to our shows and think that perhaps we would be a good match for your friend or family member or for you, when you refer to us, we'll send you to a nice dinner to your favorite restaurant, and we give a nice fat contribution to the Children's Hospital Foundation to help the kids.
Well, as you can hear, we have the nice holiday music that's playing right now. I hope you guys have the best Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of our listeners. I hope they have a wonderful time with friends and family, as you do as well.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank
and
you.
next week, we'll be running a best of show.
Yes.
We're going to combine a few segments, the ones that our listeners liked the most. Cindy and I will be taking a little bit of time with family now that my mom will be 91 years old. So enjoy our best of series, and we'll see you back here in 2024, Dave.
You've been listening to the Your Home Sold Guaranteed radio show with Wally Kerr. Heard every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. and replayed on Sundays at noon here on 1520 a.m. and 95.3 FM KOKC. Wally's name is his promise. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. To speak with Wally directly about selling your home or buying, call or text him to schedule an appointment at 405-330-3000, 405-330-3000, or go to wallysguarantee.com. That's wallysguarantee.com.